And welcome back to Eye On Sports. Now, the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission is in its 10th year of existence, having been established in legislation back in June 2008 to execute the National Anti-Doping Program in accordance with the standards stipulated by the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. In short, JADCO is responsible for ensuring that Jamaica's athletes across all sports comply with the WADA code. These include deterring athletes from doping through communication and education initiatives, the detection of doping through testing activities and investigations, and the enforcement of anti-doping rules. We're now joined on Eye On Sports by the attorney at law and JADCO chairman Alexander Williams, who is charged with chairing the 15-member JADCO board. Sir Williams, welcome to Eye On Sports. First time?
Yes, sir.
All right, well,
Great to be
supposed to
here.
get some treats from our producer, Ken Rayner.
Okay.
Let me know if you get those, all right?
All right.
All right. Now, you're into your third year, heading into your third year as chairman of JADCO. At this point in time, how would you assess your tenure thus far?
Well, what I will say at this point in time, if you don't mind me use a little Shakespeare right now.
No, not at all.
Tied in the affairs of men, which take not the flood leads on to fortune.
Right.
So right now, JADCO has been in a certain tide, if I might put it as delicately as that.
Right.
But I see where in the near future, JADCO would have improved some of its processes and would have come to a point where we feel, shall we say, very comfortable in how we approach hearings specifically before the panel, the disciplinary panel. But putting that aside, what I would say is that the education programs of JADCO have been very good. Right. We are in TV, we are on radio. Yeah. Athletes can come in anytime and be updated. We reach out to them electronically, by the phone, and so on. We have seminars. And I don't mind telling you, recently we had a seminar down at the conference center dealing with the specific issue of therapeutic use exemption.
TUE.
That's right. Right. You will recall in a recent matter before the panel, an athlete indicated that he was unaware of the certificate, which quite frankly I found mind-boggling, given the level of exposure and the level of education that we have undergone over the years. So we thought it best to, re-sensitize people as to how you go about getting one of those. So I feel overall,
you say satisfactory?
In tandem, yeah, I think so. I mean, we're going to improve it. There are a couple other things that we want to do to raise the profile of JADCO. Once we raise the profile of JADCO specifically to athletes at the primary level, and you notice where I'm going. Right. Primary level
down to
athletes,
the grassroots. All right.
Where, you have to start sensitizing them there on the issue of doping control. Because that's where our athletes are coming from now. Yeah, true, true. Oftentimes, your high school athlete is kind of getting old. True. Depending on the sport you're talking about.
And at this point, too, a few of them are, when they leave the high school stage, they're going to the professional level, even skipping college. That's right. You spoke of riding the tides right now.
That's right.
A wave that you'd have been riding and you're trying to even overcome still would be that concerning the executive director, or might I say former executive director, Kerry Brown. Yes. What is the current state of affair as it pertains to Mr. Brown? Because we understand that, he was fired last October, but he, of course, has appealed that. So what is the current state of affair?
Quite frankly, he has not yet actually appealed it, I must tell you. As an attorney, I think I can try and see if I can explain it so the public will understand. Right. What Mr. Brown has sought to do is to get the court to review our decision to terminate him. Right. And he's doing so on the basis of saying that he's a public officer. Right. And we didn't follow the proper procedure to dismiss a public officer. Right. We say he was not a public officer, so therefore that procedure does not apply. The Supreme Court said he did not even have enough of a case to seek leave to challenge our decision. Now let that sink in. He did not even have enough of a case to challenge our decision. He sought an appeal from that decision, sought to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal, well, first it started from the judge who refused him.
Right.
Then it started from the Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal refused him. So he has actually not yet started the actual case to challenge.
Well, we understand that he and his legal team, headed by Hugh Wildman, might be going to the Privy Council. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I was made aware of this about a couple of days ago, that he has filed an application in the Court of Appeal to seek leave to go to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. So that is where we are with that. But so far as we are concerned, there is no injunction barring us from replacing him.
And you remain confident in the decision you made?
Yes. I mean, yes, let us put it that way. So we are going ahead. I must tell you, we extended the period for persons interested in becoming the executive director to the 31st of January. And we're now in the process of reviewing the applications. I must say I'm quite pleased with the level of the applicants. So I'm hoping to be shortlisting by the end of this week, so that next week we would be talking about interviews.
Right. Any possible names you want to give us?
I won't disclose.
This is Eye On Sports, you know. We like to.
Well, I know you do your digging.
You know, of course.
So dig away.
We like to be first. but how does this reflect on the leadership of JADCO? WADA would be looking on. Other governing bodies would be looking on. So how do you think this reflects on JADCO? Because here we have Kerry Brown still appealing, or going through the process of appealing. You're looking to replace him officially, but it's still up in the air. So how does that reflect on the overall leadership, though? Well,
first of all, and let me just back up again. It's not really up in the air. Even if Mr. Brown were to succeed in getting an appeal heard and wins, it does not mean he gets back his job.
Right. What would it mean? Monetarily, it would mean...
Not even that. Yeah? Well, if we're to get judicial review, it would then be open to JADCO to take the steps that the court deems necessary to dismiss him. So obviously, being guided by the court, we would then take those steps.
So you're saying he stands to gain nothing, really, from trying to appeal?
I'm not his attorney.
Because it must be that if not getting back his job, certainly, then earnings lost.
Legally, all I can say, because I'm an attorney, this is not the process for him. If I was his attorney, this would not be the process to get back his job.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be it.
Yeah.
And I won't say anything more on that.
So maybe they need to leave that wave.
Let's put that aside. Let's put that aside for the moment.
Let's look now into the operations of JADCO. Let me ask you this first up. As chairman of JADCO, do you consider JADCO right now athlete friendly, wherein be it track and field, be it cricket, football, athletes they feel free enough to come to JADCO for advice? Because that has been an issue over the years, where athletes don't feel that JADCO is friendly. And I'm not saying here that JADCO should be friends with them and you know, doing anything covert.
Let me put it this way.
Are you athlete friendly?
I believe we are. All right? JADCO has an open door policy for athletes. You just heard me outlining our outreach to athletes. Any athlete at any time can come in and ask any question. And they can call in and get it. They can write us and get it. So I do believe we are athlete friendly. I think what has happened is that because of what has transpired, particularly before the disciplinary panel in recent times, that may cause athletes to pause.
Right. And see JADCO as the enemy.
Well, the pause in thinking that we're not athlete friendly is seeing and hearing the panel say that JADCO did not follow procedure in proceeding with the matters. They didn't follow the proper procedure.
Right.
Now, I've said it before publicly. If JADCO takes a case before the panel and loses because the panel believes the athlete over the doping control officer or over the witness called by JADCO, that's fine, right? That's fine for whatever the circumstances. But if JADCO loses because we didn't follow the procedure, then we, as the board, have a problem with that.
Right.
That is something now we have to address.
Right.
So I don't want to rehash the different instances.
Yeah.
It became obvious that something needed to be done in respect of the leadership in how we put matters before the panel. Because whilst we got assurances over time, it was obvious that corrective action did not take place. Right. So among the things that we have done, apart from...
Hold that thought, because I have to follow proper procedures here on Eye On Sports. So we're going to be taking a break and come back with this stirring discussion with, of course, the Jericho board member.